In this short video, I'm going to show you how I trade profitably with just a 50% win rate. I'm going to outline how I trade and test it for you right here, right now. In fact, I've done this so many times in forward and backtesting that I'm almost 100% sure that after our little session here and our backtesting session here, it's going to end in profit, whilst also having around a 50% win rate. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to TradingView. So here we are in TradingView, and I'm just going to show you what my strategy actually is. Now, for those of you that aren't in it, I've got a free Telegram, the link's in the description, and I share all my analysis every day in there for free. So those of you that are already in it, you might have a bit more of a better understanding of what my strategy is and how I like to play it. But essentially it's this. We find areas where price has reacted quite a lot in the past. So once you see these two data points, you will then draw up this zone. You then set alerts at these zones. That's what I like to do. And from there, when price eventually comes back and hits this zone, now price is here. Now I don't blindly enter a sell and a bounce at this strong zone. I like to then watch it and see if there's just a little bit of rejection. If there's a little bit of rejection and I'm at the chart at the right time, then I'll enter a sell. I enter a 1.25 risk reward, and that's it. That is literally my strategy. The other alternative is that it's a break and retest strategy. And here we would say that there's not much rejection, and in fact, it starts to move up forward still. And then when that happens, you let it break. You then see if it can come back to the zone. If it does, and it rejects the zone again, going in the direction of the trend, well, then I just enter a long here. Same, 1.25 risk reward. And in fact, this position probably works for me a bit better than the bouncing at the zones. This sort of like the break and the retest going with the trend seems to help a bit more. And the last thing that actually makes me profitable is that I have a risk structure system where I don't just risk the exact same every single trade. Now, I don't double down either, but let's say after one or two losers, I might risk a little bit more, just a little bit. And if I still lose again, a little bit more and a little bit more. And I can lose up to like 10 trades in a row before the account is blown. Now, the reason that I do this is that it makes the losing streaks so much smaller. Essentially, when you get that winner, the whole losing streak comes to around maybe break even, tiny profit, tiny loss. But then when you get the winning streaks, which inevitably happen in trading, then there's so much winner, and that's where you make a lot of your money, is by minimizing the losing streaks, maximizing the winning streaks. Some of you might say this is gambling. I talked about this all in my last video where I showed all my results and absolutely everything, so you can go and look at it back in there and let me know what you think. So here on the chart, I've got 36 pairs, and we're just going to choose a random pair. So the random number generator says pair 31. So we've got NZD USD, okay, pair number 31. All right, so here we are on New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Now, these are the rules for the experiment. We've got a 1K account, we have a baseline risk of 4% per trade. Then after a loser, you increase risk by 50%. And after a winner, you reset to the baseline risk. So for example here, trade 1 would be 4%. Now, if you win, you just do trade 1 again. If you lose, you go to trade 2, which would be 6% risk. So you're increasing by half. And if you lose trade 2, you go to trade 3, which again, increase by half, so you go to 9%. And again, to trade 4, 14%. I've sort of rounded it to the nearest whole number, just to keep it nice and simple. But we've got, 6 trades here before potentially, maximum drawdown, or you just call it a loss and you start a fresh account, whatever. But this is the experiment that we're going to run. The random number says we should scroll back around 7 months-ish, or around 7 scrolls. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we come back to around August of last year. We're simply just going to speed this through, and any trade ideas, I'm going to pause it, and I'll speed this up, and we'll go from there. I have the instructions left on the screen. All right, so here's our first idea. Okay, using a 1.25 risk reward, we're going to enter here on the short. Price is basically in a downtrend. It's somewhat respected this zone if we thicken it up a bit, and it's broken and it's retested. So 1.25 risk reward, and we're just going to see where we get to. Okay, this one was a loser, so if we put that into a calculator, so we started with 1K and we've lost 40 so far. So the next trade idea is trade number 2, which we're going to look at, which is 6% risk, so $60 of risk on the next trade. Alright, here's one which we're going to take. Now, in backtesting mode, I typically take trades a bit more quickly, rationally rushed than in real life. This is not necessarily a trade I would take in real life. It hasn't come super thick into the zone. It's not a A-class setup, but for the purpose of the video and to get trades in, we're going to take it. So we're just going to see how this one plays out. Okay, this one was a winner. Cool. So the next one, we risk 60, and we're doing a 1.25 risk reward. So in this case, it would be plus 75. So far, 50% win rate, but we're in profit. Now we're just going to go on and to the next trade idea. Here's the next trade idea. Price is struggling to break the zone. It's slowly making higher highs, and we're just going to go long on 1.25 risk reward to see if it plays out. It won just, so that means this one we risked 40 with a 1.25 risk reward, so we made 50. There we go. All right, here's our next trade idea. So break and retest, been a nice clear downtrend overall, clear zone, broken it, retested it, rejected. So we're just going to enter short here. Not the ideal entry. We'd have liked to get on the previous candle, but I skipped it a bit too quick. So here we go, 1.25 risk reward. Let's see what happens. And this one was a loser, so no problem. So minus 40. All right, now on to the next trade idea. So trade number 2, we'll risk 6%. Here we go, here's the next zone. So this is a clear zone where price is really respected in the past. It's come here, it's rejected. Good chance of playing out. So we're just going to enter short. Again, we've missed the perfect entry on the first or second rejection candle, but we're just going to take it anyway. So unfortunately, this one was a loser, so minus 60. The next trade idea will be trade number 3, and we will risk 9%. So again, missed the ideal entry, but we're going to go long here. Price rejected, and 1.25 risk reward. Bit of wider targets. See if this plays out. We're asking for a bit of a big move here, bit of a trend to change, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay, and it worked out. So 90. So on a 1.25 risk reward, risking 90, we've made around 110. Okay, just over. We're just going to call it 110. So that's where we're at. Okay, now we're just going to keep trading till we get one more winner. Then we're going to sort of talk about the results and a conclusion. So this is a good example. It's come down, it's really rejected off the zone, almost too much that sometimes when things like this happen, it's a bit crazy and a bit unpredictable, but we're going to go with it for the purpose of the video, see how it plays out. Okay, and that was a loser, so minus 40. All right, we're going to go short here. It's broken the zone, come back, retested, quite aggressively rejected, and 1.25 risk reward. And this one was a loser too. So this would have been trade 2, so 6%, so $60, so minus 60. The next one, $90 risk. So here's the idea. So it's come up, it's rejected. It's still made slight higher highs, so it's not a perfect setup, but we're going to go for it. Rejected off a zone, see how it plays out. Cool, winner. So again, 90 plus around 110. And that is where we're going to finish the video. So around, an 11% gain, which is not bad. Cool, so after adding up the results, we can see that I lost 5 and won 4. So a total of 9 trades, yet we made an 11% gain on the account. So not even a 50% win rate in this video, yet we still made 11% gain. Now, the way I personally increase risk is not as simple as just increase the previous trade by 50% of the risk, although here you can see that it worked. The issue with this is that 6 trades, 7 trades, you start getting quite close to blowing the account. Okay, but it's quite an aggressive strategy which you can do in the short term, and it's best to run that through your journal and look at everything and see if it meets your rules and see if the max loss, because we had a max loss streak I think of 3 here, see if what your max loss streak is and see how often you get there. So I hope you found this video useful. It's just a bit of an experiment showing you sort of the way that I trade and an idea of the way that I use risk. Okay, I don't just blindly risk the same amount every single trade. Okay, because this is just again another slight edge to go in my favor. Again, you can say it's gambling, and if things add up and go wrong, you can play the account. It's very possible, but I've said in my journal, if I trade like this for about a year and a half now, I would not have blamed the account and I'd be in quite a lot of profit, more so than I currently am. And you can check all that out in the previous video. So cheers.